when you put your head on the floor 5 times a day, you're talking to your Lord. He can sustain you. He does sustain you, and He continues to sustain you. He'll clear all your affairs. He knows all your affairs, all public and private. He knows everything about you. And you realize you're talking to Him. It's a private conversation, and He calls you 5 times a day. When you realize that you can have that no matter where you are in the world, it's how I like, it's a beautiful feeling to have. And when you realize that, there's no worldly substitute. No money, no one could buy my deen. No one could do that. You put £1 billion in front of me, it'd be very enticing. Don't get, you'd be like, no, but you can't buy what's in the heart. You can't. You can't. My name is Ollie. I am what's it called, a HGV apprentice, working for DPD at the minute. I am 21 years old and I embraced Islam just over 13 months ago. Like I say, I'm a HGV apprentice. Hopefully that's my career. I've been in and out of a few jobs the past couple of years, trying to find something that's been really for me, fitting around my life and so on. And be honest, within regards to actual jobs, the reason I've changed is because of Islam. What's it called? It really started off in like I say, COVID lockdown, and haircut. I mean, it was nothing like this, but it was terrible. I hadn't had a haircut in ages, and as you know, obviously all the barbers were shut, so I thought I need to get a haircut. I really need to get, and everyone was doing these mobile trims. I thought, okay, I'll jump on the bandwagon. So I said to my friend, I said, do you know anyone who's doing haircuts and so on and so forth? And he's like, yeah, for sure, man, for sure. I picked my friend up who knew the barber from Birmingham, and then we drove to the other side of Birmingham. And from there, it was when someone's got their hands on your head, you kind of want a bit of conversation. At this point, I'm talking to him about stuff I don't even like. I don't like football, right? I'm talking to this guy about football, and he's like, yeah, and he's American, right? So I'm a bit of an accent, he's like, nah, basketball, he's really he likes his basketball. I don't like basketball, so there's no connection. But then they start talking about Islam, and that's kind of where it started off. What do you think about it? I never get this story concrete as to what it actually, because it just happened all so quick. But in essence, we started talking about Islam, and then I said, I need proof. How can I be expected to believe in something without proof, physical proof? I need physical. He says, okay, cool. He went off onto his little bookshelf, handed me the Quran. He says, there's your proof. And he was talking to me about ayahs, talking to me about revelations, talking to me about prophecies of the Prophet ﷺ, and he was talking about these, and I'm thinking, I can't contradict this. But it's one of them ones where you're stubborn with yourself, so you're like, You don't want it to be right, but it is. And that's what it was for me, because at this point I've never considered religion ever. And a lot of my friends were Muslim anyway, so Islam's never been a bad thing to me, because I've always known Muslims are good guys, but we never really spoke about Islam, because your boys growing up, they're just you guys. You never talk about religion. You never see them as a colour, or they're just your people. People you grew up with. But from there, I went on holiday with all my friends, and I was the only non-Muslim. So seeing them pray 5 times a day, it brought that serenity, that peace. I'm seeing these guys are really dedicated. And I'm hearing my friend, and mashallah, he has an amazing recitation. And from that point, I was gripped. They're in the living room, I'm in the bedroom, they all think I'm just on my phone, but I'm there listening. I'm sitting there listening, and I'm thinking, this is actually amazing. But then from there, brotherhood and friendship, it's all grew since, coming into Islam. I knew these guys, but I didn't really know them, if that makes any sense. We just knew each other because we went to the same school, we vibed a bit, and we were all sort of similar interests. But now I'm starting to get to know the people. And I had a breakfast with one brother, and he was really questioning me, talking to me about it, because this is something that, as Muslims we understand, you talk to someone about the deen, but then if they don't accept it, that's a deep thing for them. And when my friends were talking like, we can't leave him, bro. We can't leave him. Like, we love him, bro. We can't leave him. And this is something I didn't know at the time, but we're having this conversation. And you know, in this cafe, like 9 o'clock in the morning, beautiful sunrise. I was trying to eat my breakfast, avoiding these questions that he's giving me, but I can't help but, you know, agree to everything he's talking about. And from there, we just spoke a bit more about on the holiday. Tried to enjoy the holiday, but he was really trying to, like, you know, just help, like, you know, sort of poke at my curiosity almost. From there, got back, alhamdulillah. And from that point, I knew that I had to accept it. Like, I got back home. That was the best week I'd spent with, like, friends. And I got back home and I thought, I need that. What was that though? You know, I'm looking at all the factors. I'm like the only non-Muslim there. They're all Muslim. It's the brotherhood of Islam. And that's what I felt. And I'm thinking about that. I think, okay, cool. I'll message my friend. I'm ready to take with my shahada, you know. I'm looking at it and I'm like, okay, cool. I'm ready to do this. Like, I haven't spoken to anyone else about this. It's all me in my head. And I'm thinking, okay, cool. Yeah, I know that there'll be backlash off this, but I know this is right. I have to do this. And I contacted my friend. Saturday. Okay, cool. Saturday, it was on the weekend or something. That's like I say, it happened so quick I can't remember the specifics, but it was the latter part of the week. And from there, all the way to Kings Norton again. But at this point, I had to stop it off at a few places in Birmingham. So from Wolverhampton to Birmingham city centre to Kings Norton. That's a 50-minute journey now. Like, and at this point, I've drove 50 minutes. And as soon as I get to the house, I feel like taking the keys out of the ignition, putting them back in and going back home. That's what the point of like how much pressure was on me that day. And until I realized after I sat down and I walked in the house, you know, we're sitting there, everyone's dodging the actual real reason we're supposed to be here. Like, how do you approach a shahada, you know? Like, you don't just say ashhadu an la ilaha, you know? Yeah, we had to approach it softly and we were all just sitting there talking. So we got to the point where I'm sitting on the sofa now. I'm twitching, you know, there's a video of me and we're doing it and I'm twitching. I'm just like fumbling my fingers, I'm stressing, you know. Like, all my thoughts are in my head, like, what's society gonna think? What's my friends gonna think who aren't Muslim? Like, what's my family gonna think? What's my mum gonna think? But I knew in my heart of hearts that, you know, it was my inner fitra, you know, I was attached already. And I knew it was the best, I knew it was the good thing to do. And as soon as I said, ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah, and then I said it in English, subhanAllah, from that point, I just, a whole load of weight came off my chest. Immense, like a ton of, like, imagine a ton of bricks. Like, you can't even, like, all of us came over, hugged me, you know, like, just give me love. And it was like, from that point on, I knew that I'd entered the right thing. I knew that any, you know, doubts, any problems, I knew that, like, it being in my mind, I knew it was all false. And I knew that I accepted the right thing because it was attached to my heart. And I knew I was sound in the mind, you know, I'm not, you know, I wasn't just going to dive into something I didn't have any clue about. I really, really, like, knew that this was, like, it was meant for me. SubhanAllah. You know, and no other way would it have been, you know, because of Allah is something amazing. You feel so fresh in Ramadan. Alhamdulillah, I fasted but 3 days. I fasted every day but 3 days because I had COVID. So I couldn't fast every single day last Ramadan just gone. And you feel so good. Ramadan, the first few days, like I say, in Wolverhampton, I'm just there by myself, you know. I'm thinking about food all day. I even went to the shop, I bought loads of food, thinking I'd eat all of it, breaking my fast, spoonful. When you're there, okay, I'm happy there, but why can't I be happy at home? You know, I was also thinking this, you know, waking up every morning for Fajr with the adhan as my alarm, not dun 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 dun, dun, you know what I mean? Like a, you know, and really living, you know, and like praying all my 5 salah in the masjid, not at home, not in the, you know, the meeting room at work, or, you know, I was living the way we're supposed to live, you know, the way it's been revealed to us 1400 years ago, you know, subhanAllah, and a clear revelation, you know, subhanAllah. So like, when you're really living like that, I'm like, okay, cool. It's only my environment that's changed, you know. I can still pray 5 times a day at home. I can still pray 5 times a day at work. It doesn't matter, my environment's changed, not my circumstance hasn't changed. I'm still a Muslim. It's a mindset, you know. It's what's in your heart, it's what's in your here. Like, you know, it shouldn't change around who you're around. And like, you really realize that when you realize that, okay, why does it work so well when you're in Medina, Mecca? Because you're in an Islamic society rather than an Islamic community, and that's a very big difference. And we live in a non-Muslim country, and that's the predicament we're in. But that shouldn't change our faith, shouldn't change our strength of belief, you know. When you put your head on the floor 5 times a day, you're talking to your Lord, who can sustain you. He does sustain you, and He continues to sustain you. He'll clear all your affairs. He knows all your affairs, all public and private. You know, He knows everything about you. And you know, you realize you're talking to Him. It's a private conversation, and He calls you 5 times a day. When you realize that you can have that no matter where you are in the world, like, you know, it's a beautiful feeling to have. And when you realize that, there's no worldly substitute, no money, no one could buy my deen. No one could do that. You know, you put £1 billion in front of me, it'd be very enticing. You know, don't get, you know, you'd be like, no, but like, you can't buy what's in the heart. You can't. SubhanAllah, you can't. I mean, in particular in this workplace, alhamdulillah, it's not so bad because it's in Birmingham, whereas the other jobs were in, you know, like out in the sticks, you know, like Telford and so on. So it's like, you know, there wasn't a bigger Muslim community and a big Muslim population, but here there are prayer mats at the workplace, you know, ready for you to use whenever you need to use it. But it's like when someone walks in and they see a white man and he's praying, whoa, what an anomaly, you know. You're different, you know. It's like, you're not supposed to be doing that. That's not you. You can't do that. None of these people, when they look at me, they're like, he's just an average Joe. But when they find out I'm Muslim, it's like, you know, oh, there's kind of like a change of thought and stuff like that. But like, you know, if I presented myself up to that point as a really nice person, the way the Prophet ﷺ has taught us, and the way that the Quran has taught us, you know, how to be a proper man, how to, you know, carry yourself as a man, how to, you know, with the right etiquettes, the right mannerisms, you know, and this has all been revealed for us. We just have to put it into action. You know, we have to actualize like the teachings of Islam, and we always have to be the best advocate. So that's why I'm thinking. This guy was mercifully who walked in on me. I assume that at first he was like, whoa, this is not, you know. And there is like talks in the workplace. I've heard it, like, you know, like, but I don't talk about it much. I don't like get a all thing about it, because at the end of the day, like I say, I don't expect people to understand. You know, I was reading a book actually, the asceticism of Al-Hasan al-Basri, right? And there's a statement in there where it's saying, talking about Jannah is for those who love hard work, you know. Whoever loves Allah loves hard work, because Jannah doesn't come easy. So if my phone was charged, I'd show you the actual statement. But that's a big statement, because it doesn't come easy. Nothing comes easy. We have to wake up every morning. If it wasn't for Islam, I wouldn't wake up every morning. I wouldn't wake up every morning, put my head on the floor 5 times a day. You know, you wouldn't. Like, no sound person would. But you're doing it for a greater cause. You're doing it because for your love of Allah. You know, you're doing it for, you know, everything He's given to you. He's continued to sustain you. He does sustain you. If it wasn't for Him, like, we're only here because of His existence. So that answers the whole point of, you know, it's like my certainty and faith. Like, how, if I'm here, I'm only here because of His existence, you know. Like, so I'm like, you know, it's gratitude, a whole lot of gratitude comes with religion, you know, and adopting new faith, new way of life, you know. Alhamdulillah, you know, some people who I haven't spoken to in a while, they'd virtually like, you know, see me now like, damn, you've changed a lot, man. You've changed. But, you know, I know that I've changed for the better, you know. It's, and obviously, like, not a lot of people understand that, you know. It's like, oh, it's a flex, or, you know, it's something that it's a big thing to do. But, you know, Islam comes to whoever. A lot of guys whom he wills, you know. And me and my mum are very, very close. Alhamdulillah, I've got an amazing bond with my mum. And, you know, may Allah preserve that relationship, because it's not unlike no other, you know. Like I say, with me growing up, with my mum being a single parent, you know, like, I've had to look up to her, you know, like, she's been a big role model in my life, alhamdulillah, you know, may Allah preserve her. And, you know, like, I know my mum very well, so, like, when the house was quiet, and I knew she was quiet, I knew something was up. So I was like, Mom, you know, where is she? Like, I went upstairs, spoke to her, and she's like, you know, it was all very off, you know. She says, I've got a question for you, you know, are you Muslim? And I was like, yeah, again, I'm not gonna lie, up front I told her, yeah, you know, I'm Muslim. And from that point on, it was like, it was just stale, you know, it was just dead, like, no one was talking. And that's a very hard thing for me, because at that point, I love my mum, but at the same time, I love Islam. What do I do in this predicament, you know? Like, I'm not gonna argue, I'm not gonna, you know, because even the Quran teaching, you know, how to treat your parents, you know, your mother comes 3 times before your father, you know, subhanAllah, like, your mum was mentioned 3 times before your father, you know, subhanAllah, and my mother being like my main role model in my life, you know, subhanAllah, like, me and her are very attached, so not talking to her is a very big thing. And then before, you know, like, I must have went off or something like that, and come back that same evening, and subhanAllah, like, the whole family knew. My grandparents weren't very attached to it, weren't very agreeing with it. You know, my mum says, you know, will they talk to you anymore? I doubt it. You know, will they, what's called, you know, will people, you know, nothing's going to work out in this family anymore. The family's separated, all because of a decision I made. And I'm thinking about that, and I'm thinking, like, you know, it's a hard decision for me. It's a conflict, it's a big conflict too, you know. And I'm just like, okay, cool. So I'm really just working hard to, like, show everyone what this Islam is. And that ever since I entered the deen on the 27th of November, that's been my main mission. Because obviously, like, with people who I love and they love me, but, you know, not talking anymore because of a decision I made, it's very hard, you know. But it comes to that point where, like, now I've changed it so much that Islam's not taboo anymore. My mum's saying stuff like, oh, inshallah, I'll do that later. You know, she says little remarks like this. SubhanAllah, yeah. And I'm like, I'm really, like, it's really less of, like, a down subject now. It's like, oh, Ollie's Muslim. I'm unapologetically Muslim. Like, I will walk in a phobe in the middle of Wolverhampton. Wolverhampton, if you know it or not, it's a dead town. You know, it is, like, you know, it's one way or the other, you know. And I'm proud of who I am. I'm proud of Muslim. I'm proud to be a Muslim, you know. And, like, that's one thing I'd say to anyone. Like, it's like, if you know Islam to be the right thing, it's follow your heart. There's no 2 ways about it. If you know it's right, follow your heart. Because I'm at such a point in my life where I'm so happy. Like, you know, there's, let alone just have finished Umrah, like, an amazing, maybe once in a lifetime opportunity. You know, met some amazing brothers along the way. Like, that alone, like, Islam, it just gave more love to it, my Islam. You know, I already had a passion, yeah, like, but it just drove it more. Yeah, like, you know, it got bigger and bigger after Umrah, and it's like, alhamdulillah, like, alhamdulillah for Islam. You know, amazing way of life, man.